Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Kashif Booth podcast. If you're new here, each week I sit down with a guest and we discuss their career so far, the highs, the lows, and what's next for them. Today's guest is Esther Akinola. She is a previous guest on the podcast and it's great to have her back. Welcome back, Esther.
Hey, I'm so glad to be back. Hey, Cashew.
Good to see you again. I don't think I haven't seen you since the last time you were on.
Oh, wasn't it like was it during the pandemic? Maybe when we were just coming out of
It
it.
was
That's
like
the last
just
time I
coming
think.
out. Like it was like early 2022. So things were still kind of new, fresh again. So like people were able to be
Yeah.
out. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was then, and I just started like a new job. So life has been bit, well, life's not that busy right now, but it was busy at the time. So it's nice to see you.
No, you too. And I think that's one of my favorite episodes, that episode we did, because we were talking about social media trends and is it mixed fishing and black fishing? And we
Yeah.
just talked about that whole term. And it's so funny, like 2 years later, nobody's doing that anymore. Like that's old. The white
No,
girls aren't doing that now.
no,
BBLs are gone. They're all looking white again.
I know, but it's quite nice to see them doing their own thing and embracing their own white culture, whatever that is. So yeah.
Exactly, exactly. But today we're going to be talking about the state of our industries,
Mm.
So if you guys don't know, Esther is a senior content specialist and she's been doing this for how long now? How long have you been doing this?
I don't even know. I'm gonna say 7 years, about 7 years in total. Yeah.
And how did you get into it?
So initially, I started off working in journalism, multimedia journalism. Even though I didn't study journalism, I studied graphic design. However, I was always like really drawn to like the editorial side of things, writing, making magazines, binding books. I was like, I'm gonna be a writer. Mind you, I can't spell, but I ended up getting a really lovely internship for a few months as a multimedia journalist. And within that job, I thoroughly enjoyed the social media side of things. I ended up being a social media editor for a little while, and then after that, I was just getting more and more jobs. Like it was just I just fell into it really, and I thoroughly enjoyed it for what it was in the beginning stages. And now I consider myself to be a senior content specialist.
And you are good at it. You've worked at Meta, you've been at Twitter, you've been at The Sun, because that's when we first met, because we both did our internships
Yeah,
through Creative Access. If you
yeah,
don't know, Creative Access is an organization which creates internships for people of color to get into the creative industry because it's a drought. So, and they've been doing some great stuff for the past like
they
11
do.
years,
They
and
do.
that kind of helped kickstart our careers within the industry.
Yeah, I'm very, very thankful. Honestly, I think they're still doing lovely stuff at the moment. I'm not sure if the opportunities are as many as our time was, but like I said, I think it's the economy at the moment.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the economy, I have noticed that you have been very vocal across social media and LinkedIn about your battles or struggles with trying to get work over the last year. And it's very similar to me in my industry, in the film and TV industry, that, we can't get work. More reports keep coming out that in my industry, over 65% of people are unemployed. And the government aren't doing anything about it. It's like they don't care about the creative industry at all. So what are some of the stuff you have been faced, or why do you think this has happened?
I wish I had like a well-rounded answer for why I think the comms and creative industry is suffering so much. I do think that this is sort of like a an after effect of the pandemic. We're currently in a recession. I don't know if businesses are making as much money as they used to, or maybe they're making more money and trying to like cut corners. I'm not entirely sure, but from my side of things, I do believe that there's been this like merging of different kinds of comms jobs, and companies are realizing that rather than paying two people 50K, 50K, they can pay one person 60K and then merge the job titles under looking for creative social media, PR, influencer, director. A one person who's going to do like so many different jobs under one field and just pay them like one total salary instead of hiring different people who have like a very specific skill in these kind of things and to bring you quality out of that work. I don't think a lot of businesses care about that as much anymore. Even me, I'm trying to avoid jobs that have two titles in one because I
Mhm.
don't have that kind of brain. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. I really wish I could tell you, but I did begin to see that kind of change in early 2023. And I thought it was going to be a temporary thing. But so here we are, like a year later, and almost everybody I know who was very successful in the comms industry, freelance and perm, currently does not have work, and it's quite concerning.
It is concerning, and it's similar in my industry, but because last year I was working advertising, so I was working at an advertising agency, and we sometimes would be given like tasks of like, okay, we're going to work on this commercial for this brand, and we just
Mm.
kind of follow through like that. And just having little conversations with crew, they were like, it's March and we haven't had any work all year. And I'm like, really? That's so surprising. And I didn't think anything of it until I abruptly quit my job, and that's a whole another story. But and then I'm
Same.
thinking, yeah, I'll find a job easily. And 5 months later, I was like, oh, I'm in the trenches. Like I'm
Yeah,
having job interviews, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but within like the culture of job interviews now, you will have a face-to-face interview and they
yeah,
will even tell you if you've got the job or not. And I'm like, since when did this become a thing? Like it's ridiculous.
it
And
is.
nobody knows. For a while there was a lot of discussion as to like what's going on, why is there no commissions, why is nothing happening? And it just seems like the money's not there. More reports like are just coming out saying it's just nothing here.
I'm not sure. I do believe yes. I think especially in the TV industry because I have a lot of friends who work in TV and production and things of that nature. I have heard like the money isn't there, but I'm struggling to believe that. I don't know. Like what has caused there to be like where did the money go? What was the precursor for all of this? Like I've apparently there's been like some kind of domino effect, but I'm struggling to find where the beginning of this was. Like, do you know? Because I don't get it.
Well, it's been very hush hush. That's always the industry. There's always this like scuttlebutt. An article came out on deadline.com a couple of weeks ago, and it was from an interview quote from the directors of BBC Film and Film 4. And basically, what they're saying is that the budgets that they've been allocated have stayed stagnant. So since COVID, the cost has risen. So they said that BBC Film, I have to double check this, but BBC Film said their budget has stayed at 11 million, and what's it called, Channel 4 films for Film 4 have stayed at 25 million. So everything is rising, but nothing is, budgets
Mm,
aren't getting stronger. Allegedly, Channel 4 are saying they're not doing any commissions at all for the next 2 years.
oh my God.
And so it's like, if nobody's commissioned anything, who's going to work? And then
Exactly.
with the writer strike and actor strike last year, that affected us a lot, because I don't think a lot of people realize that a lot of major film studios are in the UK. So a lot of stuff gets shot here. So a lot of people were gaining more work in like in scripted film and TV. And so when that dried up, nobody knew what they could do. And then it's just like a catch-22 situation, because I'm also seeing multiple jobs being posted every day. And I'm
Mm,
like, so what's going on? So like I'm very
yeah.
confused.
But I don't get that one either. I think that's across all industries, not just the
Mhm.
TV industry, seeing so many jobs popping up every single day, people applying, but yet everybody doesn't have a job. I have heard the fun theory that a lot of these companies are posting jobs to make it seem like their businesses are booming and growing, and the jobs actually don't exist. They will put people through the hiring or interview process only for them to tell you, oh sorry, we don't have the job. But then you'll go on LinkedIn and you'll type in like, well, who did get the job? And where that job is nowhere to be found. No one under that job title exists because the job never actually existed. So yeah, I really don't know. I've never experienced this in my life. I think I was saying to someone the other day, or maybe it was even on LinkedIn, that I've applied to well over 900 jobs. That's a lie. I applied to well over 1,200 jobs actually, but I didn't want to say that on LinkedIn. And I thoroughly believe that over half of them were probably not real jobs. I don't think anyone was actually hiring for them.
I wouldn't be surprised at that, because I had an interview for an assistant producer job
Yeah.
in January, two actually. I even did the second interview while I was in Jamaica just to show I was committed, because I was like, I need
Mm,
this job. And 2 weeks, 3 weeks go by. I haven't heard anything. I'm like, okay, let me email the talent acquisition she ghosted me. I'm saying the same job posted on several other job websites. I'm
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
something is fishy here, because I'm more than qualified for this role. Like I'm more than qualified. So if you're looking for something specific, then just say that. But it's just weird how I'm just seeing this role. It's been over what, almost 2 months since you posted this role, and you still haven't found anybody. I find it hard to believe. So that theory of just fake jobs, I wouldn't be surprised. at all.
Honestly, everything you're experiencing is not brand new. It's all of us right now. Even when you said that you'll see the job again like months later, that's how you know red flag,
Mhm.
sirens. You know that okay, the job is not real. If the
Mhm.
job is still there 30 days later, you know when you see on LinkedIn, 30 days still.
Yes, yes,
Do
yes.
not apply. Anyone
Mhm.
watching this, do not apply. It is not a real job. It's don't waste your time. Either that or the job is gone and the company just wants to keep it out there to keep people sending in CVs so they've got a roster of CVs to keep on hand. Yeah. Even you, as you're in Jamaica and you were doing an interview, me, I
Yeah.
was in Thailand. I was in Thailand doing and I was like, I'm on holiday. She's like, oh yeah, can you find a quiet spot? I'm like, you know what, bitch, I'm desperate for a job. Let me go and sit in the hotel
Mhm.
and do this interview. This was the beginning of January, and they're only asking for a third stage interview this month, and we're the 29th of February. Actually, I pulled out.
Yeah, yeah. Red flag, red flag.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
you're wasting my time. I'm
Hmm.
your time. Let's break
Yeah,
up. Let's.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Because you're showing commitment. Like I woke up at big 5 a.m. in Jamaica time to have this
Wow.
interview at 6:30 Jamaica AM time, just so I could have this interview.
Yeah,
And you don't have the decency to even just let somebody know, thank you for your interest, but unfortunately, we've gone in another direction. Like, I don't understand where that culture has come from. I understand not letting someone know that they haven't got through to the interview stage. I get it because you get
yeah,
hundreds of applications, but when you've taken time to have an interview, I think
yeah.
I don't understand this culture at all.
No, it really lacks professional etiquette. I've never experienced that before. Prior to last year, stuff like that had never happened
Yeah.
to me. Even recruiters used to be chasing after you. Like they would be running after you, like, hey, just to let you know, they'll like update you
Hmm.
everything. They were of service to you. Now
Hmm.
it's like employees are here and recruiters are here. Like
Yeah.
we're begging them and chasing after them, like, hey, can I get update? What's going on? I don't know what's happened, but it seems there's significantly more people without work than there are jobs available. So, bit of a power struggle here at the moment.
And you know what I've also noticed? Like I've actually had to stop applying for jobs on LinkedIn because
Yes.
they've created this weird algorithm when it comes to job hunting on there because I will put in producer roles or assistant producer or production manager in my field,
Yeah.
and it just comes up with a list of promotions, like promoted job ads, which
Yes.
nothing to do with my skill set, and I can't see the jobs that I want to apply for. So to me, LinkedIn is just becoming like Instagram, like or TikTok, because I'm like, what's the point of this app now? I'm I'm getting people adding me on LinkedIn and they all trying to get me to sign up
Oh,
to their podcast network, which sounds like some scam. And I'm like, what's happened? Because this was supposed to be a professional networking site.
honestly, I stopped applying for jobs on LinkedIn months ago when I noticed that, you know, when you apply for a bunch of jobs and you'll look in your applied tab,
Yeah.
hardly any of them actually get opened, any of
Mhm.
the jobs you apply for. So
Yeah.
it almost feels like a waste of time. And it doesn't feel like anybody on that platform is actually looking to help people or, share jobs. It's all a bunch of people trying to be influencers,
Yeah.
talking about the most useless things. And
Hmm.
on top of that, I don't know about you, but too many of my DMs are filled with uncles from somewhere or the other
Oh.
looking for a wife. This is not
Mhm.
Facebook. This is LinkedIn. So I avoid that platform at all costs. It's
Mhm.
not, if you're really looking for a proper job, it's a great place to establish yourself as a brand and let people know about your skills and post things occasionally about your industry, but not a great place to look for a job, at least in my opinion. It's not what it used to be.
I agree. I totally agree. So what have you been doing to make money? Like, have you been like, I've decided, you know what, I need to find at least some part-time jobs in tech, or I'm looking at different industries because I need to pay my bills. I need to survive.
Oh, like literally, I was just saying this to a friend. Like every month has been a miracle. I used to work in tech, so I had quite a lot of savings, thank God. And that kind of like dried out towards the end of last year. And I've also been doing like really small freelance gigs. My freelance gigs used to last about like, let's say a week to, not a week, about 6 weeks, sorry, to like 12 weeks.
Mhm.
Now freelance gigs are like, we only need you for a week. We only
Oh
need,
gosh.
yeah, I know it's really bad. We only need you for a week, we only need you for a month. Fine, I'm going to charge you the biggest daily rate ever. So
Yeah.
I do those whenever they come in. And the latest one I did was for about 2 months, which was great. So that gave me like 4 months worth of money to like live on.
Mhm.
And what else? I also for a while was doing waitressing. I haven't been a waitress since I was like 21, 22. I had to brush up on some old skills. Like, but
Mhm.
I wanted to go on holiday and I also just wanted some extra money for emergencies. So I was waitressing for like 2 months. I actually enjoyed that. So I've been doing things like that. And at the moment now, I'm looking for more freelance gigs, but those are like far and few between. And even when I do apply for a freelance gig, they're looking for really specific unicorn skills that don't make sense. We want a social media manager. I
Mhm.
can do that. But can you also do graphic design? No. Can you also be a social media presenter for us? You
Oh.
just said you wanted a social media manager. What do you
Mhm.
want? We want you to do everything. We want you to make our business run. We want you to bring in sales. That's 5 different people. I can't do that for you. And then what do you want to pay? We can afford to pay you £100 a day. Girl, oh my God.
Oh
Oh my
wow.
God. So yeah, freelance jobs have been really hard to come by, which is so odd because once upon a time I would work like a contract job
Mhm.
and then at night time I'd do a freelance job as well and bring in like a good chunk of money. But now just to find like a basic freelance job for like a few £100 a week. Yeah, so I've been surviving on vibes and prayer. That's what it's been.
God is
That's
good all the
yeah.
time.
But
Same.
how have you been? Like what have you been doing like to survive?
Mhm. To survive has been I did get a freelance job late last year.
Yeah,
I was able to work on a really cool documentary. It was called Garms. It's for BET UK and it's all about Black culture's influence on British fashion. So that was great. That was a nice little 6 weeks job. I was able to charge them what I wanted to
very
have.
good.
And then I was able to just do odd jobs here and there. So do speaking events on panels or odd jobs here and there. So that's where my connections have come in. But it's just been, yeah, family helping out and,
Yeah.
savings. And that's it really. But now I just feel like, what, I've had enough. The reality is with all these reports coming out as to how everyone's struggling, and sometimes you feel like you're alone. Like, but when you go and talk to like other people in the industry, you're like, we're all struggling. Like we're all
Yeah,
the same, but so it makes you feel like, okay, it's not just me.
yeah,
That's what I've had to just do to survive. But now it's time to just, yeah, seek other things that I can do just to make up money and stuff like that. But I'm also, this now has just made me think, you know what? I need to have multiple sources of income in different industries.
yes,
I love doing what I'm doing. I love this field. Obviously, we enjoy doing it, but I can't rely on it because there's nothing else that's going to happen. Like, because the government is just not looking at a specific tax relief. That's what has been proposed by PACT and BFI Film recently to the government. And so the UK Chancellor is going to review it, but we'll see if he actually cares. But my thing is as well, it's like you need the arts, that you need the creative industry to come up here
yeah.
and do your little bullshit televised, press releases. Like you need us. You need us, especially this
Exactly.
election year, because most of us probably will vote for Green Party anyway. No one's voting for Labour. I'm
I
just
thought
saying.
I was gonna be the only one. You're
Yeah,
voting green? Me
yes,
too. Me
because
too.
ain't nobody voting for Keir Starmer. No.
No. What's the other one? Reform. No, thank
Nope,
you.
nope.
No, thank
So trust me. So that's it. That's why
you.
now I've kind of doubled up on my content creation. I'm
Very
like
good.
trying to it's a good hobby and it's something I've always done, but I'm like, let me do this more. There's so much more opportunities what can come from this. And yeah, I'm just looking in so many different ways as to how I can make money, venture out into different fields as well,
Mm.
because that's the only thing we've got to do.
Literally, I think I was even speaking about this with some of my friends and even my mom. She was like, maybe just leave creative comms for a while. I actually don't mind leaving the comms industry. I've done it for 7 years. I feel like I've reached a lot of peaks at the time. Like I never thought I would be the person to end up working at Twitter. I never thought I would end up at Meta for 2 years, let alone at all. So I feel like, okay, like I've done quite a lot. Before I turned 30, I was doing a lot in it. I was in magazines, I was doing panels, I was doing talks. And I'm like, okay, well, what else? If this is what's happening at the moment, let me, establish myself elsewhere. Let me try project management or whatever it is that boring people do outside of the creative industry. Let me try something else. I don't know. But I think at the moment, people or the economy really requires whatever skill you have that you would do in comms or creative. take it somewhere where like it's really needed, maybe like more corporate stuff. Oh,
Mm.
so boring.
No.
I need a job.
No, I totally understand that. So what would you do like when you are doing interviews? Like how do you prepare for it? Like what's your step? Because maybe we can figure out, somebody listening probably could say, oh, maybe this is where you're going wrong. Like what would you
Oh,
do?
I feel like I've tried everything. I think I've initially I was like, okay, maybe there's
Mhm,
something wrong with my
mhm,
CV.
mhm,
So I took it to my mentor, and she was like, your CV, Esther, there's something I can really add because your CV is very nearly perfect. And I was like,
mhm,
I know. I love my CV. My CV is very clear, very, it's fine. So
mhm,
then we were like, okay, what about interviews? Initially, I was like, I've never had to put that much effort into my interviews. They would usually look at my CV, they'd ask me a few questions, and they'd be like, did you got the job? I
mhm,
never really had to prepare that much. So now for interviews, I treat it as though it's like an oral exam. I look at the job description, I look at my past experience, how I can like blend the two and refer back to it, say all of the keywords in the job advert, all of that
mhm.
stuff. And I've been doing all of the things that they say you should do. What's the one? STAR or whatever it is that they
Yes,
say you
yes,
need to
yes, yes,
do.
yes.
I do all of that. And still no job. I think there was one time, my absolute piss take last year, where I spent 2 weeks preparing for the job interview, and they asked me to do a presentation. Mind you, that presentation was 35 pages long. They said you had 20 minutes to present. I presented it very well. It was detailed, everything
Mhm.
beautiful, 10 out of 10. I was very, very proud of that presentation. I treated it like it was a real presentation I would do like if I actually had the job. And the lady was like, I was like, do you have any notes? Is there anything you want to ask me? She's like, yeah, it was a beautiful presentation. It looked really pretty. Is that what I'm asking you? You're telling me it looks pretty? Kashif, I did not get that job. And that was a 2 month job interview process. I did not
Two
get that job.
months.
2 months.
2 months.
So it was 2 months of my life. 2 months of my life. And I was like, you know what? I could be amazing at the interview. I could have a great CV. I think right now the job market is like playing the lottery.
Mhm.
So I still put in effort. Obviously, naturally, I'll always put in effort. But I really do think it's just a game of luck at the moment.
That's so that's ridiculous. 2 months, sorry, I'm like speechless on that. That's crazy. But see, it's a red flag for me. Anytime I'm applying for a job and they're like, oh, we want you to do a presentation, or they've asked me to come up with a whole pitch of like how to sell a product to a certain demographic for a
Yeah.
client. I'm like, no, because I
Yeah.
don't feel comfortable you taking my ideas because what if I don't get it? I'm putting a lot of effort into this. Like this is something I'd be able to do during my 9 to 5 hours. So you want me to do this after work or in my own personal time
Right?
to prove to you what? I don't like doing tests. I don't like doing all that stuff. No, because I
No.
just click off or all those silly answers like the questions they ask you, oh, why do you want to work for this job? Or tell us about a time like
Oh,
this. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
no, that's in the job application, right? When they
Yeah,
ask you, why do
yeah.
you want to work for this company? I don't know this company actually. I
Yeah.
just want a job. Or when even if they send you a rejection, they're like, keep an eye on our careers page. Actually, no,
No.
I wasn't dying to work for you. I just needed a job. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you
Exactly.
sell. I need a job.
I,
So yeah,
yeah.
I don't do tasks anymore. The moment they say anything about a task or a test or something
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
I pull out.
No, I pull out. And the thing is, what I find most annoying is that when you go onto like a company website and you're like, okay, cool, I get to apply, and they're asking you to sign up to the company website. They're asking you to, you already have to upload your CV, but then they're asking you to manually
Fill
put in
out all of
experience.
the
I'm like,
yeah.
I've been in this industry for 10 years, and you want me to go through every single job that I've had.
Oh
And
God.
then they're like, oh, do you want us to keep your CV
No.
database? In my 10 years of working in this industry, only one time has somebody found my CV on their website and pulled me in for an interview. That happened 7 years ago. That's never happened since. I didn't even get that job anyway, but like that was the only time. And you want me to like it never works. It never works because it's all about who you know. They're always gonna, and I'm almost certain, but don't quote me, guys, allegedly, like if they put a job out, they have to put it out externally and also internally, even if they are going to hire somebody internally. So
Yeah.
it's like regardless of you saying that, you're still going to hire internally because they're always going to be the number one pick, which makes total sense. Whoever's working in the company deserves a
Yeah,
promotion. I agree with
I
that.
agree.
So, but come on now, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. I have heard that. I
Hmm.
definitely agree. You should always promote from within, allow the person to progress in the company. But it's so disheartening for people who are like eagerly looking for a job and you put them
Yeah.
through the whole hiring process. You
Hmm.
took them even to the final stage. That person has put in effort and anxiety, all of that, and you're gonna be like, yeah, no, we're gonna hire Anne, who's been sitting here for 5 years. Oh.
Exactly. But what's your worst, like, what's your least favorite question they ask you in the interview process?
When they ask me about my processes, like they
Hmm.
want me to give them ideas. Like when they ask me, I think there was a recent job application I went through and I kind of cut out because that's been asked me in the interviews before. When they're like, so what strategy do you go through to
Hmm.
find influencers? Like, how would you find an influencer for, let's say, a campaign about this lipstick?
Hmm.
It sounds to me like you actually do have a running campaign for a
Hmm.
lipstick and you're asking me how to do that for you
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
free during
Hmm.
this interview. So I just told them, now I just start telling them lies. I'm not going to tell you how I do it. I always say, well, I usually discuss with the team and then
Hmm.
I'm done with that.
Hmm.
Stop asking me for free information because that's a consultation and I will send you a consultation fee invoice afterwards. So I think things like that are very, very cheeky. Or when they ask that dumb question of why do you want to work for our company, I really think that question maybe wasn't very good in the early 2000s or the
Hmm.
90s. But 9 times out of 10, people looking for jobs are not very fixated about your company
Yeah.
particularly. They're
Mhm.
focused on the actual job in itself. So
Yeah.
that question needs to go. I have a list in my mind, but I could go
No,
on. But
listen,
yeah,
mine is what are your strengths and weaknesses? I think that's a dumb question. I
really,
Yes, I do think
it
it's a
is
dumb
a
question.
question.
Yeah, two questions. Those two questions, I think they're dumb. The reason why I think they're dumb is because nobody's going to tell you their actual weaknesses. Everyone's always going to say oh, sometimes I focus too much on the project, or I don't know when to switch off.
I work
Nobody wants to
too
hear that.
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Or no one wants to hear that. Like, I think you should, when I try to when I've interviewed people, I always try to gauge with what's their work ethic and what's their vibe going to be. Do I
yeah,
feel like I can genuinely get along with you? Are you going to fit into my team? That's how it's always been. And what is your work ethic? And
yeah,
and I will try to use examples as to for you to accurately show and tell me what your work ethic is. That's what I prefer. Like, give me those type of questions. Don't ask me, because the other day I had a job interview for a field, something I'm not really involved in. It was more in like broadcast operations and
yeah.
scheduling for like films and TV shows for our network. And the guy already knows that I'm from a production background. My mentor was the one who set this up. He's asking me in 3 years, do you see yourself working in this field? I'm like, fool, you already know this. You know that I just need a
No,
job. This is a
yeah,
3 month contract. So I had to be lying and saying, yeah, this is what
I
I
would
done
think
to, like,
that.
why are you asking me that? Like, why are you giving me hypotheticals of if I've been here 3 years and if there's opportunity to come up in production or stay in scheduling, where would you go? Why are you asking me this? Why are you asking me this? You clearly are just doing this as a favor to my mentor. So it's just a full like craziness. Or when they throw out the scenarios of oh, tell us about a time where you've had to, what's the word, like you've had to problem solve or like fix a,
Yeah.
it's like,
Why do you
okay,
think?
why
Yeah,
do you
I,
care?
I,
Like, because in realistically, what each company has their own protocols, each company has their own way to do things. So it's very hard for you to be able to accurately say that answer what they're looking for because they all have their own way of doing things. So I just think they're just dumb. But that's just my pet peeve. Like, judge me on other things, not that.
I agree. I definitely agree. I think those kind of questions we've had the same kind of interview questions for how many years now? It's a
Mhm,
bit lazy.
mhm,
Ask me about my personality, ask me about my style of working,
mhm.
gauge how well I fit into the team. Please stop asking me about my strengths and weaknesses because I will lie to you. If I told you my real weaknesses, are you going to hire me? No. Stop
Yeah,
asking me where you see me in 5 years. I don't know what I'm eating for breakfast tomorrow, let alone
exactly. Or
today.
dinner tonight.
And
Okay.
do you know, me, I
Like,
don't remember what's happened half the day about 5 years from now. I'm not going to be staying on your team, Shirley.
no,
I'm not
no,
even going to know if I'm going to be in the UK. So
exactly.
ask me something else.
Because you know what it is like, and they always like cuss. We're millennials, but they're always cussing like Gen Z millennials. Oh, we don't like to work hard. We don't want to stay anywhere too long. No, because we've seen our parents stay in companies for like 20 years. Then
No
take that
reward.
weak redundancy money, what you want to give them.
Yeah.
And for me, like the advertising agency that I was at for about 10 months, I remember going to like a year-end conference thing. And I didn't want to go, but one of my friends forced me to go. And they were just really selling it like, yeah, this is for your career. This is going to be amazing. And I'm looking at this presentation and I'm seeing like 1,000 people with creative director titles. That doesn't scream success to me, being a creative director for a huge, massive company. That doesn't scream
Yeah.
success. I'm going to
No.
make you money. If I win an award, it's going on your shelf. So
Exactly.
I want to work for myself. That's always the goal, so that everything I achieve is for me. So these jobs are great for our careers, but it's a means to an end. I'm always trying to find the next one. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean I'm just going to job hop, but I'm just literally trying to see how I can develop my skills and move on because we all have different goals that we want to achieve. So yeah, these jobs just want you to live
Take
like
it as well.
sacrifice your whole life for them.
No, I completely agree. I'm a queen of job hopping. I have no interest in staying. That's why I was always a contract babe. I have no interest in staying there for 5 years. Thank you, Brian, but I am out. Loved it. Great 1 year of my life, but if I job hop, I'm gonna make about 15K extra in the next job. See ya. See ya.
Exactly, exactly. No, no, especially like a job. Listen, you're not irreplaceable. If they can fire you Tuesday and hire your replacement on Wednesday, I will
Period.
leave that same day. I only stay if I put in my notice. I only stay if I want to get the money. If I really don't care
Yeah,
about the company, I will.
I leave.
That same day is my
Yeah,
last day, and I'm gone.
yeah.
I-
Oh my gosh, do people actually do that?
yes, I do.
I didn't know you could even do that. And I always stay like the 2 weeks of trying to be polite, like, oh, I can't
Oh,
leave.
no,
Oh,
no, no,
I
no, no.
didn't know.
See, my last job, my manager tried to play me and he was like, he tried to fire me essentially. It's a very long story. And I was like, okay, I see you. So we had a conversation Thursday. Then he said that he would let HR know that, okay, we'll figure out a last day. So I was like, okay, fine. Friday comes. I'm like, nothing's happening, but you expected me to be still working after you said you want me to go. So I was like,
Mm,
okay, 5 o'clock Friday, I sent HR an email saying termination of my contract that day. And then I chased them up on Monday. It was like, oh, sorry, yes. Confirmed, sorry to lose you. Went in that same day because it was work from home on Mondays. Went in, dropped off my laptop. My manager realized that, oh shit, if he leaves, he's left us in the shit. So I was like,
yeah,
so
but
then I
time,
was
yeah.
like, oh, well, he sent me an email at like 1:30. I was already halfway to the office, dropped off the laptop, and I was gone. He comes in Tuesday and finds out I quit. So I wish I looked on the face of him. I wish I saw. So it's like, I don't owe him anything because you were trying to do some shady stuff because you didn't like me. So I leave you in the trenches. So then everyone else who, because at that time I had worked on 3 back-to-back commercials. So I left them all in crap. So,
Oh,
so yeah, so trust me, if that's how a job wants to play you, you do the same thing. If you care about, and for this is for everyone listening, if you care about your reputation or connections, then yeah, follow through with that. But I don't care about that. So I was gone.
God, I didn't know you people could do that. I thought that was
Oh
an
yeah,
American
yeah, you can
thing,
always
but I
do
didn't
it.
see that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can always do it. You just don't get the money. That's all. If you work your note, that's how I always say it. If you want to work your notice so you can get your full paycheck, fine. Yeah, then do that.
Oh,
Finish out the month, do that. But I don't care about those people. I don't want to do no fake leaving drinks or fake this. I don't do all, no. I was like, I'm cutting. So
that is new to me.
yeah,
I'm gonna remember that for
yeah,
next time.
yeah.
And
Honestly, people think like, oh, you've got to do this. You don't have to do it. It's about reference, it's about all that stuff. I don't care. And for me, I'm not afraid of anybody. So it's like, what? What are you gonna do? So so that's it.
I
So
love that.
yeah, yeah,
Ooh, try that
yeah.
next time. Who
Yeah,
knows
yeah.
the next time I'll have a job, but yeah, I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's up to you, really. It's really about your reputation or if you want to maintain that relationship with the company as well. I didn't. I didn't. So I was like, okay, later.
I think I've been in similar situations. There's many jobs I've worked for that have no place on my CV or LinkedIn. I don't even remember their names. So yeah.
Yeah, see, exactly. So, and that's one thing I love about being a freelancer is because if I don't like you, I don't like this job,
It's not on my CV.
like, peace, I'll dip.
Literally.
It's not on my CV. I'm not gonna look for you for a reference. Nobody knows who you are. It's all good over here. So yeah.
Period.
So
Period.
so
But what are
what's
you gonna do
oh,
now for money stuff? What are you doing?
mhm. Well, I'm looking into literally I'm looking into PA stuff. I'm looking into retail as well, just to get some maybe on the weekends as well, just to get stuff like that. Trying to look into like still in media but different areas. Like I did work in broadcast operations for a very long time. That was a good means to an end job while I did my independent film and stuff. So I could
Yeah.
easily slip into that. So I've been looking at roles in that department. So yeah, just kind of keep afloat like that and hopefully bring this podcast back. More interviews.
Amen.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So what about you? What's next? Like what's the next step for you?
I've got a job interview next week. I always say I have a job interview next week because I have a job interview, I swear, like almost every week now. But I don't really care about them anymore. I feel like I'm just going with the motion. I would love to bag a freelance gig before the end of this month because my birthday's coming up and I do not want to be in the UK during my birthday. So by God's grace, I will not be here. I'll be elsewhere. What else? Luckily I've done some sponsorship stuff via my TikTok, which is really surprising.
Good.
So there's that a little bit. And then I've just got really good friends and family helping financially. But I don't want to do that forever. So prayer and fasting.
Good. Well, I mean, your TikTok is hilarious. I love the content, what you've been putting out there, your dating saga, your job hunt. Like it's all fun and get like it's great, and
Yeah.
it shows how good you are at your craft. That's one thing I always notice when I'm watching your
Oh,
content. It can already show that you know what you're doing, and it's not as easy as people think it is. You know.
no, it's not. I think there's definitely a trick to content. And one thing that I always am thankful for, it's definitely a blessed skill, is knowing what people want to see when it comes to content. And I really wish that more companies would notice that, yes, I can do all of, I know you're looking for a specific person, but at the end of the day, you want to do social media, you want people to see your content. That is the base of it. I can do that for you. But I guess things have changed.
Yeah, especially because I think we said this just off camera before, but like they're underpaying people so much. Like I've looked
Oh
at
yeah,
content producer roles and I've done it in the past for films and feature
yeah,
films and worked with like film studios and I was paid well, but then I'm looking at jobs and they want you to be equipped in Adobe Premiere, Photoshop, InDesign. They want you to be a videographer, social media
yeah,
manager, and the salaries are like 27,000 a year. I'm like, sorry?
yeah. It
Like, what's
never
going on?
used to be like that. It
Hmm.
never used to be like that. I'm very transparent about salary, especially as a Black woman. I think we should all be sharing our salary so that we can compare and see what our counterparts are getting. So let me tell you about salary. When I used to work in like perm jobs, yes, sometimes the salary is about 20 something K a year, but that is for junior roles. Prior to the pandemic, even for like medium to senior roles, the least you could get would be about like £50,000 for like a traditional social media digital marketing job. And if you wanted to do contract, you would be getting around, let's say, 250 to £450 per day for the
Mm.
job. Since early 2023, maybe late 2022, those kind of jobs are far and few between. And I've noticed like a pattern in the salary, even for like some of the medium to senior roles in social media, the salaries are like 45K for like three titles in one kind of jobs. Three titles in one kind of jobs, 45K for a
Mhm.
senior, mid to senior role. I've never seen that before because once upon a time it was 50K. Where did that 5K go? Why is it now 45K? And they're always like, the max we can offer is 45. Where did you magically get that benchmark? Where did that come from?
Mhm.
And even for a lot of freelance gigs, contract jobs, there are still some really good ones for like 300 or something pound a day. But those are like far and few between now. And sometimes they'll say, oh, the most we can do is 260 a day. Where did that come from? So what is that? And even then, the job, they want you to do like three different things in one within the space of 8 hours a
Mhm.
day. So I don't know what's going on, but jobs where I used to apply for that were like 65K, 70K, £350 a day. Now I'm applying for jobs that are like 35K to maximum 50K a year.
Mhm. Mm,
Okay, I mean, money is money, but it's like I've never even had to look at that. I sound so pretentious right now, but I never even had to look at jobs in that salary band. But it seems like similar titles I've had in the past now fall under that salary band. I'm not sure what's going on.
mhm. No, it's so true because uh, it's just like a conversation I've been having a lot of the time is that budgets are going nowhere.
Yeah,
Like they're
yeah.
just staying stagnant and salaries are going down. Nothing is going up. You know, the economy is crazy right now, but no salaries are going up. Everybody's staying at this 30K realm, and I don't understand.
Weird.
It's really strange. And you know, that's why people are looking at okay, America and Canada because the salaries are higher and you get more out of it. But then there's like cons of, oh, you've got to pay for your healthcare and all that stuff and all that. But listen,
It's
there's
in
pros and cons because
comparison. I
listen,
feel
like I
like
know people who like some of my friends who've come here from America and I've met them here and they're like the salaries are so low, I've taken such a pay cut.
yeah,
You know, my friend's on what 98K, but in if he was in America, he'd be on 130K. Like,
period.
like yes, and he's a journalist, like so he should be making that much money. Like he's a top
That's
editor.
fair.
So it's
Yeah.
like, come on. So something's not clicking here. I just feel like the UK is mean. That's what it is. They're just mean. I'm sorry.
Vibes. It's bad
Yes.
vibes,
I need
and
to get out
it's
of
so
here.
sad. I would love to leave, but I don't know what the government is doing about this. And I think this is
Mhm.
across all industries, not just ours, but like even NHS workers. Their
Yeah.
salary is trash. Their salary is horrible. I remember I
Mhm.
saw like the paycheck of someone that was a doctor. They weren't even a junior doctor. They were like a mid-level doctor, and their salary was like 40 something a year. I was like, for
Yeah.
a doctor?
Yeah, it is not lucrative. All that time you're spending studying, med school, all that residency, and that's what you end up making. No.
Oh my God, this country, people say that UK is this amazing place, so much money. Please, they're trying to even tax our eBay selling, our Etsy selling.
Oh yes, I saw this. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, there is no money to be made here. They
Mhm.
do not want a middle class. It's either you're rich or you're suffering.
Mhm.
There is no money here. Please stay in your respective countries or go to America.
Yeah, go to America, Canada, or even Australia. Go down there, you know.
You know what I mean? I think there's more money there than here. I don't know what's going on in the UK, but the PR around this country is false. Everyone is poor and tired.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
You step out your front door and you spent £100 and you're like, where did the money
Literally,
go?
literally. I think even the train journeys increased now. Wasn't it like £9 something last year? Now
Mhm.
it's like £11, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling that money.
that's why. Look, I stay indoors. I only go out if I need to. Okay, like
Same, same. Where am I going? If it's not free, see you later.
exactly. Well, thanks, Esther, for coming on the show. I thought it's a good discussion. I hope you guys learned something. Please let me know your thoughts. Like, what's going on with your industry? Are you struggling to find work? Are you in the same boat? Let us know. But thanks. Well, actually, Esther, where can people find you? Let's on LinkedIn if they want to hire you, you know, check out
Don't
your
find me on
amazing
LinkedIn.
TikToks.
Please don't go to my LinkedIn. It's just doom and gloom there. But you can find me on TikTok at Esther Tumrola. So that's ESTHERTUNROLA on TikTok. I'm there to amuse myself and others.
Well, thanks guys for listening. You can follow me all on my usual socials at Kashif Podcast on Twitter and at the Kashif Podcast on Instagram and TikTok now as well. So stay tuned for new episodes, more like this. You know, I feel like I need to get back on my interview stish, you know, because like I just didn't want to do it over Zoom, but it's like studios are expensive and I'm like
Yeah,
work
but
is
this is
tight.
good.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I think I'll bring this back. But yeah, thanks again, Esther.
Thank you, Kashir. Thank you for having me.